This is a classic 98 Mauser military rifle, like the American GIs would have brought back from World War II, and like what would have been imported by the thousands and thousands in the 50s and 60s. Great firms like Griffin and Howell in the late 20s and 1930s they had perfected the concept of sporterizing rifles in the 1903 Springfield. So it wasn't like that customization of military rifles was new after World War II, but there were just thousands and thousands of guns and returning GIs that liked them, maybe their first exposure to a bolt-action rifle. And so here we now have these guns, and we have inventive GIs, and we have the concept down, and people start sporterizing military rifles. Sometimes as basic as just taking off the extra wood and shortening the barrel, and sometimes then by creating a beautiful sporter like what we've got here. When we think of custom gunsmithing in America, it really is custom rifle smithing in America. So I think people build sporters out of military guns because they want to. A great deal of satisfaction from doing the work, from converting something like this, especially if it's all beat up and a lot of war dings in it, and converting it into some modern sporting rifle that you can go hunt elk or deer with. Very, very satisfying for people. So the first thing you have to do whenever you're going to build a sporting rifle like this from a military gun is you have to completely disassemble the military rifle that you're working with. There are really three components. There's the lock, the stock, and the barrel. So after disassembly, you've got the barrel attached to the receiver of the lock, so you have to pull that off. You've already taken the stock off, and now you can see the three components, lock, stock, and barrel. The only thing you really keep for the sporting rifle is the lock itself, or the action. So the wood is of no value to us, the old barrel is of no value to us, but it's this lock or the action in the middle that is the basis of a modern sporting rifle, whether it be a Mauser, as we have here, or a Springfield, or even a 1917 Enfield. So lock, stock, and barrel, and those are the three parts, and now we're going to start the work on the lock, or the action. Now, some of the work that we do on the action, the bulk of it is for function. That is, we want the gun to work like a modern sporting rifle. Some of it, though, is just for the eyes to make it look better. So let's talk about function first, and then we'll talk about the cosmetics, if you would. You can see that we've put on a new bolt handle. So we had to cut the old bolt handle off, which would have stuck straight out to the side. And so we've welded a new one on, and we've got it bent, and we've got it swept back, so that now we can pick it up and operate the bolt with it. But that's the first piece for us in this project, is putting on a new bolt handle. The Mauser comes with a 3-position safety, but the safety is up on top of the bolt. And for a sporting rifle, you want the safety on the side so that you can catch it with the thumb. So this is called a 3-position safety. Not too terribly much work to put it on, but an aftermarket part. So we've got a safety on it now. We've got a bolt handle. Of course, the military guns aren't drilled and tapped for scopes, so we had to drill and tap this one, 6x48, for the scope bases. That's a pretty simple job. What a great challenge the floor plate is. It would have what we call a detachable floor plate on the original Mauser, and now we have converted a detachable floor plate to a hinge floor plate design. So we had to, of course, put a tab on the front of it that we could use as the hinge, and then we needed a latch on the back, and so we've built this latch into it that allows the hinge floor plate then to go down. A lot of work here to do this. You've got to do some work back in the back here for the locking apparatus. A lot of contour work to do on the trigger guard, as well as cutting in the latch itself then. The original trigger, of course, is a 2-stage military trigger. We wouldn't prefer that, so we put a modern Timney trigger in this one, a single-stage trigger. What you might not be able to see, the tang, the rear tang on the action of a Mauser 98 is going to be about 1/8 of an inch higher than this. So in order to get this shape that you'd like to have for the guard, or for the top of the pistol grip, you really have to cut down the rear end of that tang, and you just do that with a grinder. So we were able to do that. We've reshaped the top of the bolt release here just a little bit and then checkered it, and that really is kind of cosmetics, if you would. And then you can see that we've jeweled the bolt and we've niter blued the extractor. So that's more cosmetics than anything else. And of course the whole thing then we rust blued. So we've got a very attractive receiver, if you would, a very functional receiver with a good bolt handle in it, 3-position safety, a good trigger in it, and a modern hinge type magazine. Lots and lots and lots of hours of time in the work itself and then polishing out the receiver afterwards. So I don't necessarily recommend you try to make a living doing that, because it's a lot of work and not much reward. But that's what you do to the lock or the action. Pretty standard for all sporting rifles is to do those things to bring it up to what we call modern standards for a sporting rifle. Now the stock on a rifle, a modern bolt-action sporting rifle, is probably the most visible piece of it, the piece you see first. It's can be the most attractive or the most unattractive part of it. For this particular stock, we've got English walnut, and that would be the wood that most people would say would be the premier wood for a modern sporting rifle. You can see what the shape is, how it looks. It's what we call a modern classic design. There's no cheek piece on it. It's made, interestingly enough, to fit me. So the grip is designed to fit my hand, the fore end is designed to fit my hand. So some of the features that we've done on it, of course, it's very nicely finished with a rubbed in, a sanded in finish. We've cut the flutes into the fore end, or into the point of the comb here. You can see that we've got a steel grip cap on it here, a steel butt plate on it here called a Needner style. We've put in 2 screw swivel studs so that you never have to worry about a swivel stud turning on you. We've got an ebony fore end tip on it. You can see the checkering on it is all hand cut checkering, 20 lines per inch. We've got a wraparound pattern on the front and a standard 2-panel design here on the rear. Doesn't wrap over the top, I don't prefer that, and a standard 3-point design. I like borders on checkering, so we've got the border on the checkering. We've also glass bedded it, which you can't see, but it would be a modern sporting stock that's designed to really please the eye, designed to please your body as you fit it. We have radiused off the top of the fore end because I don't like that to be squared up. I like that to be radiused on top. So this is a sporting rifle stock that is designed to fit the owner, in this case me, and to satisfy the owner's desire to have a beautiful, beautiful stock. Nice straight grain in it, just a beautiful piece of wood. Now the barrel, certainly the barrel is one of the most important parts of the gun because you're looking for an accurate rifle, and the barrel's a key piece of that. Let me tell you some of the stuff we did to the receiver, though, as part of the rebarreling project. We re-tapped the threads, the barrel threads in the receiver. We trued up the face then of the bolt in relation to those threads. We lapped the lugs. We lapped the bolt raceways, but we really got the receiver all trued up to take the barrel before we ever put the barrel on. And then we selected just a modern sporting weight barrel. This one is 24 inches. We wanted either 7x57 or 257 Roberts because that is the 7x57 case. And since I already had a pretty good 7x57, this one is in 257 Roberts. And so we had to mark the receiver for that as part of the overall process. So, and then of course the whole treatment on everything here is just a slow rust blue, which would be a traditional sporting rifle finish. It's kind of a matte color that isn't very shiny to you, just a very pleasing appearance to the barrel. So that's the barrel project. That's the most straightforward of all the parts. Of course, it had to be polished, had to be crowned. We had to chamber it, and we had to fit it. and that finishes up the barrel. And there you have it, the lock, stock, and barrel on a sporting rifle. A whole bunch of work here, in the stock, in the barrel, but what you get is a very, very pleasing rifle that is designed to fit its owner and designed to satisfy him literally for a lifetime.